Hey, this is René, welcome back to another video on this channel, and today I want to test another MT5 expert advisor, and this time it will be the Darwin Swing MT5 program, which was requested several times on this channel already, and which is ranking among the highest ranked EAs for several time now on the MQL5 platform. So let's have a look at this program, and first of all we will start with the description. Here you can see the name. It is sold around 12 times per month in for the MT5 version, several times per month for the MT4 version, of course, and the publisher of the program also has some other programs, so we can be pretty sure that he is making good money with his programs. And we can read some things here in the description already. First of all, we have the first sentence that we saw with several different expert advisors on MQL5 already. This is producing some need or pressure to buy the program because it will be more expensive in the future. I think this is mainly a marketing tool, but I don't know. So then we can read the description, and what I really like about this program is he has an article on MQL5, which you can see here, and this article should describe how the EA works or what the mindset behind the program is pretty much. So I read most of the article here, and he says a lot of good things, and I would second a lot of these statements here. So he says, for example, that Forex is of course a lot of statistics. It is not 100% win, and you need a good strategy to be successful in the long run. Unfortunately, he talks a lot about himself and not really about the strategy, what was to be expected, because most people do not really like to reveal their complete strategy. I would absolutely suggest that you read this article, because you will learn something about the seller of the product, and you will read something about the idea behind the program. And this is something that I really like, and I would always encourage everyone to not only look for the plain numbers or for some backtests, but to also have a look at the strategy itself behind it. So I like a lot about this article. There are also a lot of things that I do not like. For example, statements like this. He's saying his EA is perfectly successful and reliable. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if you can say this about any program, because nobody can see the future and nobody can predict the future. Market phases, market periods, or markets can change. So I don't really know if you should make statements like this. But yeah, read this article if you are interested about the program. So also he has some signals here. Let's have a look at these signals. And you can see here, he has a lot of signals. Some of them are more risky. Some of them are not that risky. So maybe we can have a look at some of the Darwin swing signals here, for example this one, and we can see if we learn something about the program. So what we can see here, and we can see some things already, which is really interesting. I think if we have a look at the statistics, we can see that first of all the profit factor is really good, which is a good thing, of course. I think, where do we see some drawdown statistics here? Maybe it's for risk drawdown. So the maximum drawdown was close to 16%, and the return is 11%. This is, in my opinion, realistic. It's not like you do not see any drawdown, but you are still in profit. Also, if we have a look at the equity here, and if we see something like this, where the equity is way below the balance, this is usually something you should have a look at, because you will have to figure out why this happens. This can be the result of some kind of martingale grid system, or some programs just leave their position open until they are profitable again. So these are all reasons that might cause like the big difference between the equity and the balance. And this is something, yeah, you really want to have a look at. Also, we see another period here where the equity is way below the balance, and then after the equity hit the balance again, we make a big profit. So it might be the case that there are multiple positions open, and then they are closed with one big TP, which causes this jump in the balance curve here. So after all, there's nothing more we can see here, I think. Of course, we only have profitable month, because it looks like we do not really close positions if we are losing. This is why you can only see the balance rising, and you never see like a decreasing balance. And this is really important. You have to understand the difference between balance and equity. Balance is always like the realized profit and the realized losses. So whenever you close a position, it will either increase your balance curve or it will decrease it. And this is why open positions do not affect the balance graph. And this is also why it means nothing if the balance is only going up. So the more important thing, in my opinion, is the equity, because the equity also takes into account the currently open positions. And this is why the open positions, if they are in a drawdown, if they are losing at the moment, the equity curve will decrease in value pretty much. And this is why you can see these drawdowns that you do not see in the balance curve. So this is for the signal here. So we can already see what we will have to look for in the backtest. So let's have a look at the description one more time, if we can see some more things. So here again, he is talking a little bit more about the strategy, and this is always something you should read. And it is really interesting. This is something we did not test before. I think on this channel he says that he has a long-term trading approach, and this is not a scalping system. And this is something that I really like, because long-term strategies are often more reliable in the long run. So this is because they're just not really affected by trading costs that much. Because if you have a long-term strategy, if you have for example, long distances from your entry to your TP or SL, this will reduce the impact, like the relative impact of any slippage that you get, or any commission or spread that you pay for your trades. So this is something, I really like. Then he says this works with support and resistance and trends, and also he uses different indicators and filters. So it will be complicated to guess like the actual strategy later on if we have a look at it in the visual mode, but I will try my best. Also he says that he places virtual positions, and okay, yeah, this is really interesting. We will see if we have a chance to have a look at this in the visual testing mode. So also he says that he is trading 28 pairs simultaneously. We will have a look at this later on. There is no optimization needed, because he will send you the set files as soon as you purchase the program. I cannot really do this, or I cannot really work with the set files that he plans or that he recommends. So I will just use the default settings and maybe apply some changes if I think it is necessary. Also, again, it's a swing trading strategy, which I really like. And he has a news filter, which of course we cannot test because news filters do not work in the strategy tester. And yeah, also he says it's perfectly compatible with funded account or prop trading. I do not really think this is true, because what we already saw is that he has temporarily big drawdowns, and for example, this drawdown would be enough to pretty much violate any rule with any prop trading firm. So I think this is kind of, just not true. Or I mean, it's always like there's a chance that you can pass the prop trading evaluation tests with this program, but there's also a chance that you violate the rules. So it's not like you win every time, but I mean, there might be some settings to prevent big drawdowns from happening. We will see this later on. And also he recommends to not trade accounts that are too small, I think. So yeah, this is what we can see here on the sales page pretty much. Also, he says that he is identifying a trend, waits for the pullback, and then enters the trend, which is like a classical swing trading strategy. It is not that easy to write this in a expert advisor, because these trends are often interpreted by a human trader, and they're not really objective often, but we will see if this works in the strategy tester. And then, these are just the things that we just saw. Then he did some more advanced backtesting here, I think. And we will see if this is reliable and if we can reproduce this in the MetaTrader 5. So let's jump right into the MetaTrader 5. Go to the market here, right click, buy from the market, and there it already is. Darwin, swing, MT5. Let's click on this, download demo. I really love it that we can test the demo of any program in MetaTrader 5 pretty much. So now we enter, we open the strategy tester, click on view strategy tester, and then we click on visualize and select the expert advisor that we want to test. So of course we go to market here, and then we search for the Darwin swing MT5, enter. And I think on his page he recommended to use the Euro US dollar 1 minute chart. So we will do this, of course. So Euro USD and M1 here. We can choose a custom period. I will just go with 2020 up to the current date pretty much. So we have 2 years. I hope that it's not that we can see some trades and that it's not like a super slow back test. So let's have a look at the inputs here. We do not need to change anything else here. So let's have a look at the inputs, and there are a lot of inputs. So let's have a look if we can see something here. So magic number is pretty obvious. Any EA should have a unique magic number. Then we can add symbols here, I think. I believe we should do something like this. But we will see this later on. We will just go and leave this blank to see if we only trade Euro USD or what happens. Symbol stop after close, all to stop all, symbol prefix, symbol suffix. So this means, I think, that we can always trade a bunch of symbols. For example, if we add USD like this, we will trade all the symbols that start with USD. For example, USD Japanese yen, or USD the Canadian dollar should be this, I think. So, but I only think it is like this. So we can try around with this. And here we load indicators. So then we have the trade command. This doesn't change the trading part. Then we can choose a fixed or dynamic lot size. This is what we see with a lot of EAs. So we can choose a dynamic lot size of 0.5% per trade, I think. And we adjust the risk automatically. So there seems to be some mechanism to increase or decrease the risk. I think if we're in drawdown or if it's going good, it will modify the risk per trade. So we have a SL mode, so we can choose a SL in points or in in ATR multiple or multiplier of the ATR indicator. The ATR indicator is an indicator that measures the average range of bars of a specific time frame. And here he uses the D1 bars. As you can see here, like the default settings for the SL points is 0. And this usually means that we do not place any SL. And this is what would explain why we can see a big drawdown like this for his signal. So this is, what you should always be careful if you see something like this. I mean, this is something you can do, absolutely. I also use some programs that do not trade with a SL, but you should always be careful because this is always a high risk program. As soon as you see something with that places trades without an SL, you can be pretty sure it's a high risk program. Then we have the TP mode. Here we can also choose between points and ATR. The default value is points, and we choose 100 points here. So I will just leave it as it is. And then we have a break-even mode, which is like in the default settings, it is disabled. Also, we have a trailing stop, which is also disabled in the default settings. We can always choose between points and ATR, and I will just leave it as it is, so I will not use the break even or the trailing stop here, but I think it is pretty obvious how it works. For example, for the break even points, if a trade is in profit for example 50 points, it will move the stop loss to the break even level, so the level where you do not win or lose anything. It's just like the break-even level. Then we have the trading stop, and this is also pretty easy to understand or to assume what it does. We have a trading stop starting point, so as soon as your trade is, for example, 50 points in profit, it will start working, and then it will trail in a distance of 10 points, and it will only modify if it is 1 point, for example, higher than the previous stop loss. So these are like typical classical stop loss functions that you would see in a lot of EAs, and they are absolutely fine, and you can use them if they benefit your trading or if you like this, but you do not have to use them. So then we have the strategy. We have the strategy mode tester. Yeah, I think this is true because we are testing. So then we have the maximum spread, maximum symbols open. So just a spread filter, a symbol filter where we can choose how many symbols we want to open in total. I will leave everything as it is, which means it is not used or disabled. Then we have the maximal symbols open. I think this will track the drawdown. And again, the drawdown is often the difference between the equity and the balance. So in this case, here we would be in a drawdown of around 10, 15, 20%, I don't know. And in this case, if we would say something like 10% maximum drawdown, we would not open more trades or more symbols. This is what I believe, how it works. I can only try to explain it here with my knowledge and my experience with expert advisors. Then we can say how many symbols, currencies we have open at maximum. I believe that this is, this means, I think, like symbols like USD, Japanese yen, Australian dollar, US dollar, Euro, US dollar. And this is, I believe, like only the USD part. So if we have Euro USD and USD Japanese yen, this would be like 2 times USD. And if we have something like this, we would not open another USD pair. I think it works like this. And this is the same thing for the drawdown. So then we allow or not allow hedging. This is interesting because I would have thought that we would allow hedging. And and this is just a timer where we can say we want to wait, like, for example, 10 minutes before we open another trade in the same symbol. And we opened several trades in the same symbol, which might be an indicator that we have some kind of grid functionality here, but we will see this later on. Then we have synchro mode. No idea what this means, so I will not be able to explain anything. We will just leave it as it is. Then we have the big part for the news filter, and this is something we can skip completely because I cannot use this in the strategy tester. But usually news filters work like this. You can enable what kind of news you want to trade or what kind of news you want to filter. For example, light, medium, and hard news, and then you just say how much time before and after the news you do not want to trade. So this is pretty common in a lot of expert advisor, and I think it's a good thing because especially for short-term or scalping expert advisors, news can have a really big impact, and then it is a good thing to filter these news. Well, it could be a good thing, but it's always like news can be beneficial for your strategy. It can be a big win or it can be a big loss. It's something you have to consider and you have to think about. For me personally, I do not really use news filters for my trading. And then you can like just configure what kind of news you want to filter. Then we have some time filter where we can say what times a day we want to trade, and we can do this for every single weekday. And I will just leave it as it is with the default settings. We trade from 2 o'clock in the morning until 20 o'clock in the evening. And then we have a global close where we can trade, where we can close all the trades, I think, at a specific point of time at every day. This is disabled by default, so I will just keep it as it is. We can close on Fridays, also disabled on default. And these are just a lot of things like daily target, daily loss, which you can use, but all of these options are disabled by default, so I'll just leave it as it is. But I think I do not have to explain this. This is like really easy to understand, like daily target in percent. For example, if all of your positions are in total 5% in profit for this day, the program will just close everything and not open any more trades for the day. Same for the stop loss, and weekly and monthly is pretty much the same, just with another time period. And there are so many settings here. And symbol close. Oh, and this is, I think, just for the current symbol where you trade, but it also gives you the option to close at a specific point or a specific hour in the current day. And yeah. And then we have the option to show information in the chart and to disable this feature. So these were a lot of settings. Most of them are disabled by default, so I did not enable them, and this is not really important for us to see how the strategy works. A lot of these things are not really strategy specific. For example, these things like daily take profit, daily stop loss, this has nothing to do with the strategy itself. It's more like something you could put in any expert advisor, and you can use it if you like it, and if you do not like it, you do not have to use it, but it does not really change like the key features of a strategy. So this is why I will just leave them disabled as they are by default. And yeah, the same thing is for time filters. It is not really, in my opinion, it's not really like strategy specific. It's something you can use in any program, but it's often not really strategy specific. There are some exceptions if you have strategies that are dependent on times and that really work with times only. For example, like the range breakout expert advisor that I have on my MQL5 seller profile. It works specifically with times. So obviously times are important for this EA, but for a lot of other EAs that work with prices mainly, the times are not that important, I think. And yeah, this is for the settings. So yeah, we didn't change a lot here, but we will just give it a quick run in the strategy tester and see how it works. So here you can see the strategy is now loading in the strategy tester here. I am testing on the with like the every tick based on real ticks modeling method, which is in my opinion the best modeling method, which will give you like the most accurate results. Still, I do not think this modeling method is perfect. Don't get me wrong. You will still have more slippage and more overall costs in live trading than you see in the strategy test. And you will still see some trades that are executed differently, I think. But yeah, let's just wait until this test is loaded here. Oh, and what we can see here, this is really interesting. We are downloading some tick data here. And I assume if we really trade 28 symbols here, this will take a lot of time to download all of this data. So what I will do here is to just understand how the program works. We do not have to test for 2 years, so I will just start in 2022. And now we do not have to download so many data here. But you can see it here in the MetaTrader 5. You are if we are downloading more data, and it will be written in the journal here. So this means pretty much that we will need this data later on to work with the EA. It seems to use different symbols, and we will have to download this, and I will get back to you once this download is completed. Okay, so the test is up and running. So let's have a look here what we can see. First of all, what we can see, like in the chart in the upper left corner, we can see some information like the time, the mode, the lots, and the news that we cannot really use in the strategy tester. Also, we have some buttons where we can pause trading, I think. We can clear virtual trades, and we can close all the trades. And then here we can see the very first trade that we make. It is a buy trade in the Euro-US dollar chart. And now we can skip through the different charts here. So we can see there are a lot of charts, and we can see a lot of different symbols. So this was to be expected because we loaded the data for all of these symbols. And we can see that we are using different time frames, pretty much the M1, like the 1 minute time frame, the daily, the 1 hour, and the 4 hour time frame, and the 15 minute and the weekly. Yeah, I think we use nearly every common time frame for the different symbols and for all the symbols. So there's a lot of data that has to be processed by the EA, and then we make our first trade. I think I will not really be able to see a lot here because the indicators are not shown, and this is an option that you can set in the programming part of your program. You can say that the indicators that you use shall not be shown in the strategy tester. But I mean, on his sales page, he said that he uses more than 8 indicators and filters. So I think it's pretty sure to say that he uses a lot of indicators, but they're just not visible. So let's wait until we see some more things. So first of all, like the TP, this should be 100 points. Yes, this is what we set in the settings. This is just like a fixed amount. And then we can see like the trade is not really going into our direction here, and we do not close it because we do not have an SL, obviously. And we just wait, I think, until we hit this take profit level. It will be interesting to see if we open more trades or if we just wait until this trade is closed. Yeah, of course, I mean, this is like the 1 minute time frame, so it's really, it's not going that fast. And we can see the trade is not going good, so we are losing currently, but still this has no impact on the balance because we do not close the position. This is what I tried to explain before. This is just a temporary drawdown, which we would see in the equity, not the balance. And this is already why we see, or how we can explain things like this. Like the equity is way below the balance, and this is typical for strategies or expert advisors that trade with a take profit, but not really with a SL. So you can see like the price can run into the negative area here as long as it wants. We do not close the position. So I will close this window to speed it up a little bit. And oh, there's a second trade. This is interesting. We see a second buy trade, and we can make some We can try to figure out why this trade was done here. And let's see. So here we lost 1,000 points roughly. It might be the case that we just wait until the price drops 1,000 points and then we enter another position. And as you can see here, also the take profit was trailed or dragged into the direction of the break-even price. So right now we have two positions. The break-even price is somewhere in the middle. So let me try to show it to you. So the break-even price is like 500 points above this, roughly, like here. And from this break-even price, we now have 250 to 300 points until we hit the take profit. So we are now making more than the 100 points that we made initially. And yeah. Also, we can see like the first trade has the comment Darwin swing. The second one has the comment Darwin swing 2. This is probably just because this is both of these trades belong to the same setup or to the same grid that is built here. So now we can just wait until either the TP is hit or there's another position opened. And why I am closing this window and opening it again is because when I close the window or when I make it like smaller, it is it makes the backtest faster. So, oh wait, this was no grid trading setup, I think. We still have the first trade open. Oh no, we do not. Wait. Let me analyze this a little bit more. So, okay, no, I was correct. So this was kind of a grid. So this was the first trade, second trade. Then we close both trades here. We of course make a profit, which we can see here in the graph. Also the green line here, the green curve is the equity. The blue one is the balance. This is what I explained before. And then I think we saw some more trades. Let's have a look here. Maybe we can see if we make this a little bit bigger. Yeah, you can see like these trades were closed here. Then we had another trade. This was closed after, I believe 100 points, but there are not 100 points. So this is a little bit weird. I don't really understand why we do not make a profit of 100 points here. But yeah, maybe he doesn't always, or the strategy doesn't always use the whole 100 points take profit. Or maybe we can read something in the journal here. Market buy, sell. Yeah, we do not really see a lot here in the journal. It just says when there's a new signal. Okay, so let's speed this up a little bit more. And here you can see again, this will be the same thing as we saw it before, I think. So the trade is not going into the direction that we wanted it to go. So we're just waiting until we hit the take profit. So this is a pretty safe mechanism to ensure that you are always hitting the take profit. So yeah, let's speed this up a little bit more to see what happens. There's another trade. There are some more trades. Most of them hit the take profit. So let's see if they are always like 100 points in profit. No, 40 points. And there are another 30 points. So it's not always like we're waiting for the 100 points in profit to close the positions. We are also sometimes closing them before we hit the 100 points. but I'm not really sure if I see a pattern here. So let's speed this up a little bit more. I want to see another grid to be opened here to figure out if it's always like a 1000 points distance in which these grid trades are opened. Yeah, there's another trade. We are only opening buy positions so far, and I believe this is because on some higher time frame the indicators used, they signal a buy trend. So at this point we can pretty much see where this is going. So what we have to do is we have to wait for a longer drawdown to actually see how this strategy works in a scenario that is more challenging. So here you can see we see the second buy trade now, and what I want to do here is I want to check if it is again 1000 points below the first one. So I think no, it's 800 points. So maybe he's using some kind of multiple of the ATR here. This could be true. Maybe he's also using a percentage of the overall price. I will not be able to figure it out exactly. Maybe he's also just waiting for new entry signals, but I believe it's something like this. He's probably using a multiple of the ATR, because this is what we can see often in the settings, that you have the option to use the ATR. So yeah, I think risk factor adjustment. I do not think that we have a setting for this grid distance, but I'm pretty sure it has to be bound to some kind of indicator or something like this. So let's wait until we see a third trade or until we hit the take profit. I mean, there's not a lot to see here. When you have 2 or more trades, the strategy pretty much just waits until these trades hit the take profit level. So you can see here right now the second trade is also somewhat in a losing position, and we will not do anything here until this trade is closed. And also we see that we only trade one symbol. I think if we add more symbols here for the global settings, we would trade more symbols, but I believe they will just work as the first symbol here. So they will just open positions according to the strategy and then wait until they are profitable and they can be closed. Or if it does not happen, we just wait until more positions are opened. So we are reducing like the break-even price of the positions, and then it's more likely, if the price comes back, to hit the take profit level. So we can wait some more time. Okay, there's the third trade. I believe this will be again a distance of around 800 to 1000 points. Yeah, I think it's some kind of ATR multiple, maybe it's something like this. Also, we can see like this has the common Darwin swing 3 because it's the third trade of this grid. And now with these 3 trades, the break-even price has to be somewhere here. And I mean, it should be even a little bit higher. This is, I'm wondering why the TP is below the entry of the second trade. This might result into a small loss, but yeah, we can see it if we speed this up a little bit. But the overall pattern is always the same. And once we hit the TP here, I think I will just stop the test, and then we can go on testing some more a longer period without having the visual mode activated, so it will be a lot faster. But yeah, you can see like just by looking at the distance, 800 points is quite a lot. So this is a really conservative approach, I think. It's not like super aggressive. It's somewhat moderate, I would say. But there were different settings here. So we had different trading modes. I think it's strategy mode. And if we go for a more aggressive mode, I believe we will see more aggressive position volumes. And also you can see like the third trade of this series here has a bigger lot size already. So we are not using only like this grid mechanism. We are also using some kind of I would say martingale mechanism where we increase the lot size if we are currently not winning. So this is a mechanism that you can always use. It will pretty much guarantee a rising balance curve, but you are risking like the one event or the one big drawdown that will make your account lose like completely. And you can see we're already like 500 euros in a drawdown here. And yeah, I mean, he says, oh, there we hit the TP, made a small profit, and now everything starts again. So you can see like this is working most of the time. It's not good, it's not bad, it's just a technique to make sure you're always winning until you lose your whole account. And you should be aware of this strategy and you should know how it works. Please do not be fooled by some advertising or some statements that sellers make on MQL5. This is not a safe program, not at all. I mean, you have all the options to make it somewhat safer. I mean, you can you have all the options here to wait, where was it? Like here you have all the options to close if you are a percentage in drawdown. And this is a good thing because it will help you to reduce your maximum drawdown. But still, when this happens too often, it might not be profitable. So it's always like, it depends on the settings, the market period. It's not like a always winning system, and you should not believe this. Please do not believe this. But it is, of course, a expert advisor that has a lot of features. I'm pretty sure that he put a lot of work into this program, and I also believe that you have a good chance to pass some evaluation challenges using this program, but not every time. Like, it's not a guaranteed pass for the evaluation challenges of prop trading firms. It's not like this. But yeah, this is pretty much how the program works. Let me try another test. I will try it with, wait, let me adjust the settings. I believe if we go and add something like this, Australian dollar, US dollar, Canada dollar, it might work like this. Let's try this. I'm not sure if it has to be separated by comma or if we should use a semicolon. We should just try it and see what happens. Okay, program started again. It's up and running. What we can see is like the Euro-US dollar trade is the same as we saw before, but now we see some other trades. It's, for example, a USD Japanese yen trade, a Australian dollar trade, and yeah, for the next symbol that I added. So you can see now we just I think we just trade multiple symbols, sorry. But I believe the overall strategy for all of these symbols is the same. So we just wait until the TP is hit. And if it is not hit, we just open more positions. So yeah, this is it. And I mean, for this reason, it's not really necessary to trade multiple symbols, at least not for the testing purpose. But yeah, of course, I mean, this will like give you on average more profit, and I think it will help you to generate more profits even when one or two symbols are currently in a drawdown. So the more symbols you use, the more efficient the strategy gets, I believe, if this is like the idea of the seller or the programmer. But yeah, you can see still, right now, if we have a look here, we did a lot of trades, but we are not profitable right now. So this is like the most important thing that you have to learn, or that I want to tell you, is when I test these strategies, please do not only look at backtests that have a nice balance curve, also have a look at the equity. So right now, for example, we made a lot of trades, we made a lot of profit, but like in total, if we would close out all the open positions, we would be negative. And this is really important. Not saying this strategy is bad. I mean, I would have to do more testing, but this is something you can do on your own. I just wanted to show you like how you can set the settings and what you have to look for. Yeah, but this is how the strategy works, I think. And if I just speed this up and if we wait a little bit longer, it will just go on like this, I believe. So what I want to do next is, one last thing I want to test is to show you what happens if we add a stop loss, because then we will start seeing negative trades. And this is really interesting. I believe this is not really like the idea of the program. This is why it will probably not be super good, but yeah, it's still something you can try to see if like the initial signal is good. And of course, I can only test like one or two settings, but if you are interested in the program, you can test a lot longer. I would suggest that you take your time, 1 or 2 days, just test different settings, different symbols, different time periods, etc., etc. Just do a lot of testing before you choose a program that you want to trade in your live trading account. So I'm just trying to explain a lot of stuff, explain how strategies work and how you can test them, and then the rest is up to you, I think. So let's wait until this test is started, and then we will see how the strategy can perform once we add a stop loss. So what we will see here is, whoa, this is running slow. Okay, so once we see the first trade, okay, now you can see we already know this trade is happening because it happened before in all the tests we did. But now we have a stop loss and we hit the stop loss. So now if we have a look at the graph here, we start to see negative trades. And this is, yeah, what I want to show you. Like the mechanism that was used before, like the grid and the martingale, it can be used in every expert advisor pretty much, and it will give you a positive balance and even equity for most of the time, but it's just a big risk. So it's like always when you trade, the more risk you take, the more reward you can expect. And yeah, even if we add the stop loss, you can see you can still make profit, but it's more like a moderate and more risk-free trading approach, where you can, of course, you cannot expect the profits as big as they were before with a more aggressive approach. And this is how trading always is. It's always like this trade-off of risk and reward. Yeah, this is, I think, what I wanted to tell here. And we're doing a lot of trades here, and this is, yeah, I mean, you would have to make a longer test to see if this works, and maybe this is what we can do in the end, and this is how I want to end this video. I would just do a non-visual test for a longer time frame, so we can have a look at the graph and just see how it works out for the current year, which is year 2020. And then I hope I was able to explain like some key features of this program. I know I'm not able to explain like how the trades are made because I do not see the indicators. I can only like assume how it works. I think there are some filters on a higher time frame that filter the trend direction, and then there are some more filters or indicators that indicate like the initial entry point for a series of trades. So let's wait until this test is loaded and finished, and then we will end this video with this backtest. Okay, we can already see where this is going. I think this is because we have too much trading costs, and this is a 1-minute strategy, which is taking a lot of trades. So I think this is not really a fair test to show here, because this is not really like the initial idea of the strategy. So I will do another backtest with a SL points setting of 0, so we do not use the SL, and this should give us more results, like what the programmer of this program intended to achieve. Also, we are not trading 28 symbols here. I'm only trading like the symbols that I added here. So we would have to trade more symbols And of course, all of them, like it is recommended for this EA, but still we should see another equity and balance curve now since we modified the settings. And this should look a lot better like this. So let's just wait until the test's finished. Okay, so you can see the test is now finished. Unfortunately, we crashed the account, but I think I will not like make some optimizations here. I could give you some results where it's only going like into the where we only like win, but this is not really my mission here. I wanted to explain how the program works, like the general idea behind it. I think if you use like more symbols or a little bit less risk and stuff like this, it could be like the risk of losing your account could be lower. But I mean, I would have to do a lot more testing for this. But I think you got like an overall overview of the strategy. So let me know in the comment section below what you think about it. Did you use this strategy before in a live trading context? And maybe you can even say something about like the settings that the seller provides to you if you buy his product. That would be really interesting. And yeah, after all, let me know what you think about it. Hope you like this little overview. I mean, the video is quite long already, but I will have to cut some of the unnecessary parts. And I will try to add timestamps for you so it's easier to skip through the video. So anyways, thanks for watching. Have a nice time and good trades. Bye bye.